this. Okay, now the only issue I have when I'm presenting is I can't see what's happening on in the chat or anything, or if there's anybody trying to join. Okay, first off, oh, there we go. Sorry, Ricardo's trying to join, Diana, there we go. All right, so notice I kind of like first off muted everyone so I could go over the directions. I will be like unmuting or whatever as time goes on, but y'all are free to use the chat to check in or like ask questions. It's just kind of hard for me to pull that up. It's somewhere. But okay, so there we go. All right, so first off, be aware that this meeting is going to be recorded. So just be aware, again, I have to record this for those who can't be present. Move this out. Okay, some quick norms. I'm pretty sure a lot of us know how to follow this. Active listening, one mic, be kind, respect different opinions, participate and be present. So again, yeah, you do want to participate. What's cool about this is you could just use a chat if you're not comfortable using the audio thing, which is perfectly fine. And again, if you have any questions, just use a chat. Let me see if anyone has any questions or chat. Okay, no. Okay, so quick things. Use again the chat to share your ideas. You could in your Zoom stuff, you have like a way to provide reactions too. So you could like give thumbs up, give thumbs down, do a clap. You can raise hand if you want me to unmute you so you could speak. If your microphone is on, try to turn it on when someone else is talking. Did you take attendance already? So actually how I'm going to be taking attendance is because this meeting is recorded. It's whoever is on there, whoever joined, I'll be able to see who's in attendance for this meeting. So no, I didn't yet. All right, great. Let's go ahead and jump in. So those are just some norms. So here's our agenda today. This meeting is going to end at 12:30, so we're going to get to it through as much as we can. I understand that there's like questions and might not even get through everything we have planned, but here we go. We're going to have a quick check-in question. We're going to be looking at student work. So I took some screenshots of your work that you submitted yesterday. We're going to go over calculating instantaneous rate of change. I'm going to share with you some issues I saw when I was looking at your work from yesterday. And then today's assignment is once I go over and talk about what were the issues. Oh, someone's waiting. How do I? Anyways, once I go over some of the issues that I went over, you're gonna go ahead and resubmit it. So this is cool because if you didn't do yesterday's assignment, you'll have the opportunity to do it because I just returned to everybody. I didn't grade them yet. So that's a thing. Let me know if you have any questions on that. It says Manny's waiting. I add him in. Oh, I think he's in. Okay. Okay, quick thing before we get started though. Sorry guys. There we go, wow. Sorry Manny, sorry Shania. And Hakeem, yay, good. Oops. What am I doing? What's this? Okay. Sorry guys, like I said, I'm still figuring this out. For those who just came in, I'm just going over the direction. Someone has a raised hand. Yeah, Mario. Mario, did you have a question or something? Never mind. I don't know what this check means, honestly, y'all. I thought y'all had a question. I'm not sure. Okay. So connecting. So let's go ahead and begin with connecting with each other before we even start any math and stuff, because actually this is super important. I want you all, and again, this is a participation thing. I want you to all to individually think about how this pandemic, right, is affecting a lot of our lives. both inside and also outside our school in our personal lives. Given this, I'd like you to reflect on the question below. For what in your life do you feel most grateful for right now? And you could go ahead and enter in using the chat box. And we're going to take a look at some of those. So right now, what in your life do you feel grateful about, given like this whole pandemic? Someone said Wi-Fi, grateful for Wi-Fi. Good, grateful for mother, awesome. Food, not having the coronavirus, to be honest, that is something to really be grateful about. Netflix, music, family, snacks, being healthy, LOL. Music, thankful for having a job. To be honest, that's actually ringing true for many of us. Some people are jobless, can't, be able to support their family. Health and food, good, grateful for another day. Yep, tomorrow is not promised, I agree. MacBook, okay. Grateful for food, roof over head, family and health, I agree. Those are very important things. Oh, Tony, PS4. I've been using that to like watch Netflix and stream stuff. Yeah, toilet paper. If you got some, I've been getting some toilet paper from my local Food Max. Hot water. Hand sanitizer. So Abel says that's what newspaper's for, okay? Socks and shoes, and then seeing everybody. Yep, having shirts. Some people don't got clothes, okay? Awesome. So it's great to know. So again, this whole pandemic stuff, it's a lot of negativity, like if you turn on the news, things like that, but it's nice to just pause and think about what are the good things we have. And for a lot of us, that's our families. A lot of us is, and a lot of us got to lose out on actually like seeing our friends in school. There's so much going on. So it's great to kind of see what y'all are grateful for. So let's go ahead and you can continue to use the chat there to share what you're grateful for. I'm going to move us on though to our lesson. Oops, Tanya's waiting and Noelia's waiting. Okay. All right, so today's content for the live lesson is going to be this. So first off, connecting this big idea of how average rate of change relates to something called the instantaneous rate of change. And also basically trying to review the algebra used to calculate the instantaneous rate of change. So basically here I kind of put some screenshot from the big idea packet that y'all kind of annotated, I think on Tuesday. Just remembering that the secant line is a line that connects any 2 points on the graph, and we've been finding the slope of the secant line using this slope formula. Then we kind of leaned into this ginormous big idea of this thing called the tangent line. How you find the slope of the tangent line is using this formula, this limit formula. And basically this limit formula gives you the slope of this line. Let me just pause here if anyone has any clarifying questions of those key content learning that we were doing. Let me just open up my chat to see if we have any. It's just pausing for questions. I don't see questions so far. All right. Let's move on from that. All right, so everybody should recognize, if you did this assignment, right, you should recognize this document. This was yesterday's assignment. What I had for you was a little do now, right, reviewing what the average rate of change was, and another one reviewing what the instantaneous rate of change, and I had you fill in this box. If you have the slides open, it could like take you to that assignment, but you don't have to have that open right now. Okay, let me tell you all. Somebody did check marks. I know how to get rid of them. Anyway, let me tell you all what were things I noticed when you all submitted this assignment. Was first off, the key, by the way, to doing this assignment is looking at the examples that I gave you. So I gave you screenshot examples. And I also, oh man, come on. Let's not draw on the thing. I don't know how to control that. I'm still learning here. Thank you for taking that out. Okay. I gave you guys screenshot examples, and I also even gave you like a video like help link if you were stuck, right? And how your answer should have looked like for number one, for example, it should have been like this. You should have started off with the instantaneous rate of change formula, and you should have shown some steps on how you simplified that, and even shown a bit of scratch work. But I most commonly saw this, not most commonly, a few of you, but I want to make sure I address that a lot of you kind of like saw this problem and they just took the 0 and they plugged it in. See, it says 0 to the second power is 0. 0 minus 5 is -5. My answer is -5. So again, we're not doing substitution. I'm happy that this student right here is showing me they could substitute. That's awesome. But the assignment was to find the instantaneous rate of change. For that, you had to look back at the examples, look back at the video. Let me see if anyone has any questions on that. Again, feel free to type it out. Yeah, you can go to the bathroom. You can just, yeah, just leave it, leave the volume high so you don't miss anything. Okay. So let's jump into today's activity. We're going to be doing a similarities and differences activity. And then let me remind you all that, again, this is a participation based thing. So you want to make sure that if you want your full credit today, you could just comment as a participation. So again, part of learning and interacting with each other, viewing another student's piece of work helps us reflect on what you're learning by giving feedback to pieces of work. So for me, that's super important. And again, if you want to share like verbally instead of typing it out, you could use this thing to raise your hand. Or you could just like type it in the chat like, hey, can I be unmuted? I really want to share, whatever. Yeah, so use the chat feature, is fine. All right, are we ready for similarities and differences? Here we go. So first off, I really enjoyed looking at the pieces of work y'all submitted. Again, I returned those to you today so that you can reflect and edit it and resubmit it by midnight today. So directions is we're gonna take a look at 2 samples of your work from yesterday. We're gonna be using the chat feature to participate and to identify key similarities and differences. And hopefully at the end, we're gonna refine our thinking. So that's what we're gonna be doing right now. All right, here we go. So first, take about 30 seconds or so. Take a look at these 2 separate samples of student work from yesterday's number 1 problem. So first, just pause and look. All right, great. So now what we're gonna be doing right now is using the chat feature. I'd like you and everybody to type out what is similar between these 2 samples of work. And I went ahead and on the side here, I kind of numbered their steps. So if you want to identify a certain step to talk about a similarity, you can. So right now, only similarities. What is similar between these 2 samples of work that you were assigned to do yesterday? And this could be about anything. They both write out the equations, was something Juan said. That's correct. See, I noticed that the instantaneous rate of change formula is in both. That's correct. Mara, you got a question? Go ahead and ask your question. You want to be unmuted though? Or you could type it out. Edgar said they both have 2x plus h at some point. I see 2x, or, oh, 2x plus h, 2x plus h. That's right. I see it at some point too. They both did side work is what Shania said. I see the side work right here. Oh, and then it looks like this student put their side work right on top. That's a good observation. Oh, Mario said, how does number 1 lead to number 2? And for Mario, are you asking about student sample 1 or student sample 2 for that question you have? So Mario has a question, how does 1 lead to number 2? Yeah, for which one? Sample 1. So how does 1, so Mario had a question about how does this lead to this, number 2? So that's a good question. How does that first step lead to this? And maybe let me go ahead and unmute everyone to see if someone can answer that. I'm gonna unmute everybody, but I'm hoping y'all can mute yourselves if someone's talking.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, who's this?
Bro, who this?
Tony.
Again, mute yourself if you don't want to talk.
So
But
what? So what do we have to talk about again? I didn't hear.
so Mario was asking for student sample number 1.
What's so funny, y'all? What's so funny? It's
Who's
serious.
laughing? Hold on.
We're in class, y'all. Take this serious, bro.
Okay. So Tony, that's Tony, right?
Yeah.
So
I was the one who said, let's talk about this later.
Wait,
let me mute everybody.
I have
That's
children here too. We do. I have children too. We know
who the heck is arguing?
I don't know. I have to mute everybody.
We in class.
That didn't work.
Huh?
Allowing me to mute.
¿Me vale verga?
I guess I have to do it like that.
you're next.
Sorry guys. That's not gonna work. So actually, if you want to if you want to participate, let's just tell me in the chat, because Mario had a good question, and I definitely wanted somebody to, yeah, there might be a virtual fight in class. Okay. Anyhow, so Mario had a question, how does step 1 lead to step 2? Maybe somebody can type that out. And let's see, I'm gonna give like some space to someone who maybe has an idea. How did this first step get to this step? Oh, I think that's Viviana. So Abel says, so Viviana, if you can mute yourself. So Abel says he thinks they combine like term. Oh, I see that, Abel. Look, yeah, I agree. I see canceling out happening. I agree. Combine like terms or like added some stuff. Hakeem said it's not just the side work with the information at the top. I think you're right, Hakeem. Isn't that just a side work with the information at the top brought down here? Yeah, I think you're right, because that looks like this side work that this student did is down here. See, I see the x squared minus 5 part, and then I see the x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 5 down here. I think you're right, Hakeem. I think Hakeem figured it out. James said step 1 does the work on the side, which leads to step 2. So that's James' answer to that question for you, Mario. So I agree with you both. So I'm going to go over how to do this problem with everyone in a second. I'm going to go over how to do this problem. Hold on a second. Somebody talking upstairs. Anyways, that's my sisters. Anyhow, so Mario's saying, so sample 1 is right. Abel says, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna see. So sample 1, I mean, their steps look similar, right? But this one got DNE. This one got an answer of 0. All right, now everybody. So sorry, we're supposed to talk about what was similar and what was different. I'm sorry, what was similar? Now, what is different? Can you all tell me what is different though between the two? Like, how did one get DNE and how did one get 0? So again, remember, this is for participation. Y'all can chill in the chat. So now let's focus on the differences. Okay, let's go ahead and all contribute. What is different between these two samples? So how did one like maybe get D&E while another one got 0, even though they kind of started out very similar? Okay, so Hakeem says step 7 on sample 2, that's different. I agree. It looks like this student kind of really showed their work, but you don't really see that happening here in student sample 1. Awesome, Hakeem. Juan says that the second sample is more organized than the first one. Okay. They solved 2x plus h differently. So let's see, 2x plus h differently, this part right here. I wonder what you mean by that, but for that one, Edgar, if you want to clarify. Shania says sample 2 has more work. 1 has more step, Viviana. And Bella said combine like terms. Okay. Yeah, I see the, this one kind of like, you could see that they kind of did some combination here. And then more at the bottom is what Edgar says. So more at the bottom looks different. Okay. Okay, and then Edgar says 1 ends up with D&E, the other one ends up with 2 times 0 instead. I see that as well. Shannon says the first sample has missing steps that would clarify how they got their answer. And make sure that y'all are using the chat for math stuff. Like we're all chulo and whatnot, but let's just keep it private. Okay. Okay, so there's an important question from Victoria. It's how do you know what to take out when you combine like terms? So I'm going to try to address that when I go over this problem because we're just looking at samples right now. So if you've already participated about what's different and what's not, we're going to move on. Again, I expect your participation if you want your full credit. Again, that means on task. Okay. So from today's stuff, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put this in the slides about what you all said about similarities and differences. But this is later for me. Now we're going to go ahead. So what's the answer? So who was right? Sample 1 or sample 2? Was the answer 0 or was it D&E? So the answer is you should always go back to your resources. So this is the setup of how your solution should look like. Again, it should not be you substituting, right? You actually need to set it up by writing down the instantaneous rate of change formula and showing your steps, also showing some of that side work. So looking back at the example problems we've done before is useful. Can we go ahead in the chat and put who do you think is correct? A lot of people are putting 2, sample 2. Okay, Diana says for sure sample 2. Okay, it looks like everyone's in agreement that sample 2 is correct. Cool. Well, Rigo, you said 6. Okay, Kimberly agrees at 2. Awesome. Oh, okay, you're just spectating. Okay. All right, so it says we're gonna go ahead and quickly go over the solution to the problem so that you guys can edit it. We only got 3 minutes in our thing, so I'm gonna do this quick. If you have questions, you should shoot me a text on Remind because I have to do my AP Calculus class. So remember the assignment today. Let me quickly go over it. You're going to resubmit yesterday's work with all the steps shown plus corrections on Google Classroom because we just kind of talked about how the work should look like now. So it should not look like a one sentence of you substituting. It should look like that you're following those steps because otherwise I can't give you full credit. So that's why I returned everybody's. You're just going to resubmit. If you feel like you're right already and don't need to resubmit, go ahead and resubmit it. But I returned everybody's. Let me quickly show you how to do the thingy though. Get out. Quickly before.